the PS, CS, and the Director of Accounting Services. Thank you.
So, Charles, I think you take note of that proposal by Charles, so that we flag it for our next meeting, so that we see how we convene a meeting from all those parties, so that we can find ways of resolving this matter. I fully agree with Senator Sakaja that when people offer services, they really ought to be paid. People have overhead, so it's not fair that you offer services to an institution, but when it comes to payment, your money is not paid. So make sure you flag it for discussion, maybe in our meeting tomorrow.
That is noted, Chair.
Yeah, very well. I think that's fair, Senator Sakaja. We can make progress.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we go back to Chairman IEBC.
Yes,
there are a number of issues you need to respond to, I think.
Yes, Chair, maybe just on the issue you raised on the Supreme Court matter. The Commission has prepared a report on the reflections of the Supreme Court, as well as our experiences in 2017 elections. That report was shared with the two speakers of Parliament, and it's also on our website, the IEBC experience. And it's a report which on every topic we have suggested legal reforms that now will cure any other matters related to elections. I think the issues on Supreme Court, I would request that, Chair, you perhaps make a day or another meeting so that we now take you through not just the issue of ballot papers alone, but on what the Commission feels should be lessons learned and what we should do next. Because there are a number of issues that arose in 2017 which require legal reforms before the next elections, or which require some. At the Commission level, we have tried to manage and address them, but I think it's important that we take you through all the issues that we identified from 2017 going into 2022. And it's not just the issue of ballot papers alone. There are a number of other issues. So instead of just dealing with only ballot papers, perhaps my request is that you arrange next meeting, we do a write-up to you, then we do a presentation on the issues of legal reforms as a topic of its own. I don't know how you find
Okay, yeah, Chairman, it's okay, it's noted, but I hope as we meet, we'll be able to resolve that mystery of the 5 ballot that are never accounted for. But that's not it.
Yes, because it involves the emanated from 2017. I would rather approach it. There's the issue of the delimitation. What's the position of the Commission? I think we have issued the boundaries review operation plan, which was furnished to the committee, and what the team is doing now is undergoing or carrying on data collection in various counties. The whole idea of data collection is to ensure that we have, there's a variance of the sublocations as against the wards, and we need to harmonize the data so that we can be able to map out the wards as well. And I think the director of the one in charge of boundaries with the CEO should have the statistics on how this is ongoing. I'm aware in the last meeting we had in the Senate that KNBS was there, and that hope that we shall have a joint team to address the issue has not materialized. But we have a team on the ground, a team of IEBC with the officers from Survey of Kenya undertaking this exercise. And I think the details I would want the CEO to share with us, with the committee. Marijan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would kindly ask that Dr. Catherine Kamindo, who is there, to basically address that issue.
Is she there?
Yes, she was actually there. Dr. Kamindo?
But as we wait for that, Chair, maybe I deal with the other issues of resignation of civil servants that was raised.
Yeah, you can deal with those issues, and
yeah,
if you are able, there are issues of Section 22 of the Elections Act on qualifications.
Yes.
And the election financing issues.
Yes, so Marijan, you prepare your team for the issue of boundaries. Resignation of civil servants, the law provides that civil servants should resign 6 months to elections. I don't have the provision now, but I can get it. I'm aware that there was a judgment by a judge sitting in Kericho on a particular petitioner who had appeared before that court. So the court did not say, the court did not strike out the operation of the law, neither did it recommend anything other than making a ruling which only addressed that particular petitioner. And so that judgment is not for general application. And that's why the commission is guided by the existing law, which has not been changed. And the law simply says civil servants who want to take up elective position must resign 6 months to elections. And that's what has informed our election operation plan, that civil servants wishing to contest should resign by February 2022. That's 9th of February 2022. So the law remains the same, and Parliament has not changed it. And so that's why we have put the date of 9th February 2022. We have the issue of the decrease. Section 22 of the Elections Act is very clear, and it says that anybody wishing to contest should, for whether MC or member of parliament, should have a university degree. The commission is a creature of the law, and we are guided by the law in everything we do. And that's why last week when we were launching a strategic plan, we simply reminded Kenya, in fact, it's a Kenyan who asked that question, and we simply reminded Kenyans that they need to have a university degree, and that is in the law. And so I believe that I am aware that Parliament is discussing this issue, or perhaps I don't know whether that's the position at the moment, but I'm aware that the Commission perhaps will look at, the Parliament will look at the issue, but for us now, at the moment, we shall enforce the law as it is. So, Chair, I don't know whether there's any specific angle you want us to take, but for us, we shall just enforce the law, unless there's a change in the law by Parliament. Now, there's the issue of audit of the register of technology, asked by Senator Mutula Kilonzo. The last 3 years, we have been requesting for funds to audit the technology. Internally, as a commission, we did our own audit, and the company supporting the commission in technology also did their own audit. So those records are there. But for purposes of the Act, which provides that the technology must be audited annually, it requires, yes.
Chair. Chair. Chair.
Yes, Senator Mary, Senator.
Chair, I just want to request you, because I told you from the beginning that I am joining another meeting, that I get my response to my questions written, and I should not expect a report. What I need are responses of my questions, specifically the questions I asked. When I was looking at what your clerk sent to me, I didn't get my responses. So let me get written responses to my questions and then sent to me by your clerk. Because I am doing another committee meeting.
Hello. Senator Mary, Senator. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Senator Mary, Senator.
Yes, Chair. Sorry for the interruption.
Did you get the write-up that was sent to us by
the write-up, Chair, the write-up is a whole story. It's a whole report. What I want is a breakdown of the responses according to the question asked.
Senator, what you could do is
yes.
you can list what you think was not adequately captured, so that we ask the IEBC to include that response in their write-up.
Chair.
Yes, what is missing?
My request is let them give responses according to members' questions, not a report. What they've given to the committee is a total report which has a lot of information that I may not need. What I need is a specific response to a specific question, written and signed.
Charles, are you in the meeting? Charles, our clerk?
Chair, yes, I am.
What's your take on the issues being raised by Senator Mary, Senator?
Chair, the questions that the Senator had asked were covered in the response that was sent by IEBC. What I understand is that she would like the specific questions that she asked to be responded to in a document that is separate to the report sent to the committee.
Because if I understood the statement, she wanted a roadmap of activities leading to 2022 general elections.
Yes, Chair.
Number two, you wanted an answer.
Chair.
IEBC, yes.
You are very right on what I wanted, but what I want is not a booklet from IEBC. It is a response specifically to every question. Are you getting me, Chair?
We hear you, Senator Mary, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, and you will allow me to now join another committee meeting.
We will, but you know, ordinarily this meeting was to adequately respond to your statement, so it could have been nice for you to be present, but you can join the other meeting if you have some other serious commitments. Okay, we go back to Chair IEBC.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So on the issue of the Senator Mary Senator's responses, I don't know what, Chair, your direction is, because my understanding is a roadmap of activities leading 2022.
Yeah, okay. But I think the only thing
is it's a long highway. You have to cover.
Yeah, maybe if you may allow me, I think maybe one is the same issue that was raised by Senator, I think that was Senator Sakaja. You need to pen your signature to the response that you sent us. And maybe she wants a summarized answer on the roadmap of activities leading to the 2022 general election. So I think, Chair, you can do a summary of all the activities, what you have told us, including the mass voter registration campaigns, issues of delimitation, if there will be any before 2022, those issue of resignation of people in the public service, the cleanup of the voter. I think she wants you to give us a schedule of activities leading to 2022 general election. And you see, she's a leader, she's entitled to those answers, so you can burn the midnight oil and reduce them into something that is in a summary and maybe in a table format. Yeah? I think, Mary Senator, the second part has been captured. The idea of enforcing, section 22 has been captured in the write-up. IEBC simply saying that is the provision of the law and they are going to enforce it. The third one is the issue of annual report. I think they have forwarded the annual report to us, so that is captured. Maybe the only one I will ask them to give a supplementary answer will be question 1A on the roadmap of activities leading to the 2022 general elections. Yep. So, Chair.
Yes.
I think you just need to maybe reformat what you have sent to us. You reduce, she doesn't want this 13-page booklet. You reduce it into some activities that can be discerned when somebody is flipping through your response. I think that's something you can do.
Yes,
Chair.
Yes, well guided. Thank you, Chair. And
so when can we get that supplementary answer? Because we wanted to have these answers with the Senate by the time we resume the second week of July.
Very well, we can have them ready by next week, Wednesday next week.
Okay, and ensure that you sign them this time round.
Yes, we shall do that. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Then we can go back to there are a number of questions you are to respond to.
Let me just in summary say that the issue of audit of the electronic systems, we did a letter to the Senate on 3rd December 2018, which stated that we would have liked to engage an international firm to carry out the audit, but that did not happen up to now because of budgetary issues. But now that we have the election budget coming up, this will have to be done as a matter of priority once we are in funds. And so is the register of audit of the register of voters also must be undertaken well before the election. So that has to be done also. I believe that alongside this, there'll be the ongoing changes within the technology as far as the commission is concerned. And one of the things which did not happen in 2017 but must happen now is integrating the BVR, which carries our register of voters, with the KIMS kit, which now carries the other components of technology. And that again is part of what the commission is procuring, and we hope it will be in place before the general elections. So there are ongoing processes which we are working on as at the moment. Could I then, Chair, with your permission, go on the issue of campaign financing?
Chairman.
Chair, I don't know whether any senator has an issue before we move to the next issue on election campaigning.
No, Chairman.
Another issue?
Chairman.
Yes, Senator Mtula. Yes, Senator Mtula.
The chairman is a very good lawyer, and I don't want him to escape this meeting by being very ambiguous. What budget had you requested for audit of the system? How are you going to then, using the existing amount that you have been given by Treasury, do the voter audit? How much had you requested for the audit of the register? How is it going to be available? Third one, how much is it that you need to, in terms of procurement, get what is called an integrated management system? Because the understanding is that you procured a system that does not have the technology, means you needed to have an application on the KIMS kit, so that then it has the registration, it has identification of voters, and it was also a voting machine for purposes of what we understood, the members of the committee, is an audit is a complete integrated system. That is what we envisioned for purposes of the general elections in 2017. Now, in your reflections to the speakers, I'm just wondering, Mr. Chebukati, how can you have reflections to the Speaker of the Senate and National Assembly if you have not done the audit of the electronic management system, which was in fact the cause of the repeat of the presidential election? If you have not done an audit of the register, what reflections were these? Or this is like a fireside chat you are sending to them? I don't understand.
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah.
What's your take?
How much was requested for? I think the management team should give the figures. Marijan, I would ask you to give the figures if you have them. If not, then we should dig them out and do a communication to the committee.
But more importantly, Mr. Chairman, you must be able to tell this committee, and largely because the media is in the meeting, you're informing the public more than you're informing us. How fast can you do these things? We are concerned as members of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee about preparations for elections. It's important. There must be a timeline. You had 1 year, you have taken 3. So are you going to take another 3? It's important you tell us how long this will take. Thank you.
So, Chairman, are you able to tell us where you are, and if you need more time, how long do you need? And can you assure Kenyans? Can you assure Kenyans that this technology that you procured, I mean, Kenyans want to get an assurance that they didn't get a raw deal. Chairman?
This issue of technology is now an ongoing procurement issue, and I think it will be finalized soon. The KIMS kit which you have has a capacity to integrate the voter register, and it is just a software issue, and I think that is part of what is the ongoing process of procuring a service provider to assist in that area. And as I said, we have the technical team which can give more detail on that. I don't have, I think Marijan and his team can give more detail on that. But there's issue, there's no cause for worry. I think it will be done in good time, way before the elections.
This is, I think Senator Mtula wants a specific timeline.
On the issue of audit of the technology?
Yes.
When
will it be done? I mean, so that Kenyans can...
I would perhaps ask to answer that question, because I don't have the team with me where I am, but it should be part of the program of activities lined up by our ICT department. Marijan, do you have the answer to that?
Marijan, can you give us the timeline, please?
Yes, Chairman, maybe before I even give you timeline, there was the technical guy on boundaries that was waiting.
You need to be on your video so that we can see you also.
Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to optimize the network because, you know, of the challenges of the technology. But
you know, this matter is being captured. This matter is being captured on media, so we need to see you. Yes.
So I'm saying that I had wanted the director in charge of research, development, and boundaries to respond to the boundary issue first, because she has another engagement. She wanted at least to dash. So we give her a chance to respond to that issue, and then we move back to the issue of technology.
No, can you tell us the timeline first, even as we move? Issue of timeline.
I think Mr. Chairman gave that response last time when he said that by May.
No, Chairman has just referred the question to you.
And I still want to refer to his answer because he's basing it on timelines that we had given in our elections operations plan and our strategic plan, that by May, the audit of the register will have been done. By May.
So the period you are giving us is May 2022.
Yes.
May 2022.
Yes, and that will be after the mass voter registration, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
The register of the voter. But
Senator Mutula, I think you have heard the period is May 2022.
But I'm not sure whether CEO Marjan is aware of the law we put in place in terms of inspection of the register, in terms of making it public. Because when you say May 2022, is easily the time when your register should be ready for inspection. So what if you conduct an audit of your register and you find that it has 1 million voters who are not supposed to be there? What are you supposed to do when members of the public are supposed to, in fact, at that time, start inspecting your register? If you recall the timelines about what we put in on the timelines. So similarly, on the technology, you know the timelines for procurement are already inputted in the law, whether it's a ballot papers or technology. Now, if your timelines read May 2022, which is 4 months to the elections, what are you supposed to do if you discover the technology that we were given by Safran Morpho is not competent for purposes of the general elections coming in 3 months? What are you supposed to do? You know, these questions we are asking, Mr. Marjan, may appear very academic, but it is pointing out to whether or not you are going to use this same technology for purposes of the general elections. If you recall, we had a disputed clause called Section 44A created by IEBC and propagated by members of the Jubilee Party about complementary mechanism for a few months to the general elections, which was suggesting we move away from technology and go back to manual, where somebody from Moyale gets after the election, walks all the way to Nairobi to send you the results. So it's important that when you put in a timeline, you figure out the question of, if you find the register is wrong, what do? If you find the technology is wrong, do we procure another technology or do we abandon it? Now, the internal audit that you have done, what does that internal audit say about a fellow who you could not wake up in France when he was required by the Supreme Court? That is the same thing that the chairman is asking. There are serious concerns. And I must remind all of you, including the chair, that the stability of this nation is pegged on how the confidence that Kenyans have on your preparedness is important. And we're asking these questions so that when we go out to the public, we tell them, please prepare for the next general elections, which are in August. Thank you.
So, Banasio.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
No, I cannot really overemphasize the issues that are being raised by Senator Mutula. We call you for this form of engagement so that we create a forum for you to reassure Kenyans, to build confidence on the process leading to the 2022 general elections. That's why we ask for these answers. Like you can hear Senator Mutula is now raising a very genuine concern. You want to finish this process in May when Kenyans should be inspecting the register, you know, and that's why I was also asking the chair that have we resolved that issue of the issues that were coming up from the Supreme Court election petition. And I'm happy that the chairman has said we pick a day when we'll discuss all these issues. But can you try to adequately respond to these issues that are being raised by Senator Mutula, please?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. And thank you very much, Mr. Senator Mutula, for the clarification. I believe what I said is about the register. We were talking about by when will basically the register will have been checked and completed. The issue of technology, I think we talked about it. We said the reason why we have not been doing it, and I wish we were able to do it, was because of lack of budgetary. We have budgetary constraints, and which we indicated. And in first, if you don't have budget, there is no way you are going to do an audit. And this audit, remember, it is also required to be done by an independent institution. So even the one that we have done was basically just to try and see that if there are anything that we can be able to handle at our level at this juncture. And that is where we teamed up our internal audit plus Ministry of ICT, at least to give us some form of assurance if things are okay or things are not okay. And I've stated it before. This matter has been tabled in the audit committee. It has not been discussed. So at the moment, Mr. Chairman, I'm not in a position to, because it has not even been sent to me. It was requested by the audit committee. It was sent directly to the audit committee. The audit committee is yet to deliberate on the same. On the issue of voter registration model, Mr. Chairman, our chairman put it correctly that what we have currently is a KIMS kit. KIMS kit with the other modules, that is the candidate registration management system, the results transmission system and identification system. The voter registration module is an application that can just be uploaded, and even in the current tender that is actually going on, as what Mr. Chairman said, one of the requirements is that the voter registration module should also be there. So the tendering process is going on, and we've started early, Mr. Chairman. We've also, in a bid to ensure that we are not caught on flat foot, Mr. Chairman, even in terms of ensuring that we have KIMS kit, for example, as and when we require them, we've loaded it separately and put it as framework contracts, so that as and when we need additional kits, we are able to get them by just issuing a local purchase order. So the tendering process, we have started it early, Mr. Chairman, to ensure that at least we comply with the law. Because we recognize that if you don't do it early, then you may have a challenge, Mr. Chairman. And I believe the reason...
So with that May deadline, does that May deadline still leave you with that option of complying with the law?
Mr. Chairman, yes, Mr. Chairman, that is the end date, Mr. Chairman. But when you say end date, does not mean that is the start date. We can even start early and finish early. You remember even last time, Mr. Chairman, for the purpose of the register of voters, which was done by KPMG, we still had time before that, so that we actually now send the same file for verification. And there was only one constituency. I think it's because of the by-election that was going on. That is the area that we only suspended, but the other areas were able to go and verify their details. So, Mr. Chairman, that is the end date that is given, but the activity can start as they need to be given at least 1 month for the same to be completed.
Okay, very well. Okay, very well. Any other issues, Senator Mtula? We can go back to election campaign.
Mr. Chairman, I've requested that our boundaries team be given maybe 2 minutes for them to respond to the issue.
Okay, it's all right. We allow them to respond.
Dr. Catherine Kamindo, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question that I was supposed to clarify is what is happening on the ground, the aspect that the chairman had mentioned on collection of data. We commenced collection of data in Machakos County last week, and what is being done is consulting the chiefs on the sub-locations, especially the new ones, and the team is still going on, and this data after the data on the new sub-locations. Then
can you also put your camera on, please? Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, I'm attending this meeting from a vehicle because I was on the move.
Yes.
What I'm saying is The data collection is ongoing. The team has been in Machakos County last week and this week, and tomorrow it's moving to Embu County. Then thereafter, in the new financial year, then the data collection will commence in the rest of the counties. And we are doing this with the Ministry of Interior because they are the creators of the sub-locations. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, well, that is it. Very well. Senator Mtula, any question there?
Yes. The question on KNBS is still not addressed. KNBS said that they have collected the information regarding using the population census. So how far, in terms of collection of data, what is the difference between what the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics has collected and what you are doing now? It appears, therefore, I mean, you are easily just duplicating what they are doing.
Thank you, Chairman. The data collection that is being done is not the population data. It is on the sub-locations. And one of the aim of collecting this data is to, because you remember when we appeared together with the KNBS, we did indicate that there are some areas where there was a discrepancy between the way the units as defined by KNBS and the units as defined by the IEBC, the electoral units. And one of the aims of collecting this data is actually to establish, one is to establish where the discrepancies were. For instance, there are areas where we did indicate that we had about 695 areas where there was a slight difference in terms of the boundaries as they are by IEBC and the boundaries as they were used by the KNBS. So by collecting this data, then we'll be able now to see where the discrepancies is, and then the harmonization can be done. And I think we also indicated that the last meeting that we had with KNBS, we did agree that the IEBC boundaries will be used, and that is why the chairman mentioned that there is a technical team that is supposed to be formed between IEBC and KNBS so that we can harmonize this data. Thank you.
So is there any problem between you are working together with KNBS so that this issue is resolved?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think there is any problem because we did hold a meeting of the technical team, and there was that agreement that we are going to work together to harmonize the boundaries as they are. So there is no problem.
Okay. Okay. Senator Mtula, any supplementary question?
Kamindo.
Yes,
your timelines are just baffling on review of electoral boundaries timelines.
Yes.
And just permit me to read so that you can then explain to us why this one. There's some procurement of GIS equipment, end date 25th of February 2021. Geodatabase update, data collection administrative unit. You are supposed to have completed it in 10th of April 2021. Are we together so far?
Yes.
Training of emerging delimitation technology. In fact, that should have been completed on 10th of January 2021. The legal activities on legislation and rules was Monday, April 19, 2021. So are we together so far?
Yes, we are.
Right now, this is where my problem is. Data collection and electoral boundaries review is April 15, 2021. End date February 23, 2024. Are we together so far?
Yes, we are.
Number 6, and then you skip the general elections and you can see it goes to 2023. Why is there such a discrepancy and large timelines between what you should have completed in April 2021 And now, so that you can convince Kenyans why we cannot have new constituencies by the time of the elections. Insofar as these deadlines are concerned in your report, ideally, the limitation that is in Article 289 should have been completed. Means that as at August 2021, which is exactly 12 months to the general elections, these things should have been in place according to your own timeline here. Thank you, Chair.
Yes,
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator Mutura. When the timelines were formulated, they were formulated within an ideal situation, and I think the chairman commented earlier on that we do our timelines, we do our requests. But there are times when the exchequer is delayed, and therefore you cannot be able to commence with some of these activities without the exchequer.
Oh, Chairman, Ms. Kamindo can now answer, now that we have the schedule number 1 to 7. Where are we as a country on this? Where are we? At what point on these activities are we?
Mr. Chairman, we asked.
Chairman, Ms. Kamindo can now answer, now that we have the schedule number 1 to 7. Where are we as a country?
can you see the schedule on the screen?
Yes, I can see it, Chairman.
So if you take us from number 1 up to 8, where are we?
The procurement of the GIS data, that is number 1. That is ongoing. Some of it has been completed. Completed.
And you speak a bit louder so that we can hear you properly, please. We can't hear you.
Okay, Chairman. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yep.
The geodata update collection is ongoing.
We can't hear you, please. We cannot hear you.
Chairman, I'm saying number 2 is ongoing. Number 3, the training on emerging delimitation technology. Some of it was done last year. There's trainings that are scheduled. So we can also say that is ongoing. The legal activities, some of the legal reforms or registrations were actually presented by the legal department. Then the data collection on electro review is a continuous process, because after this initial data collection, then we should be able, after the whole collection, then we should be able to finalize number 5, that is data collection and electro boundaries review. So this one will it was supposed to start in April 15, but it is ongoing. Then from there we'll post until.
Sorry, Chairman. According to what you said, Ms. Kamindo, before,
yes,
you're only collecting data on 695 locations, correct?
No, that is not correct, Mr. Chairman. What I said was the 695 is what we found to have discrepancies. But for the purposes of the delimitation or review of the electoral boundaries, the data collection has to be done in the whole country. And that's what we did say, that we have started with Machakos. This week we are in Embu, and then thereafter in the new financial year, it will be rolled out in the whole country. So it's not the 695. The 695 is where we say there were discrepancies in terms
so,
of...
Ms. Kamindo, I have a question for you, and perhaps you can help us. Assuming for whatever reason, the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court approves the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020.
Yes.
In view of this calendar, what what is IEBC going to do? Because the chairman said that if the IEBC, the BBI bill is approved, then they will have to act on it. Now, going by your own timelines, it appears therefore that you will not be able to do it if the Court of Appeal then approves and we have a referendum. What are the contingency measures that IEBC has put in place in the event that that bill goes through? Because it is an event that you must put in mind, irrespective of its outcome currently. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And the question that Senator Mutula has asked, the Commission is actually aware of that. And in case the BBI becomes law, then we'll be expected to review the 70 constituencies, the additional constituencies.
Now, even as you say that you will review,
Yes.
you have said that for data collection,
Yes.
you need 1,044 days.
Yes. For the whole country.
Data collection and analysis
Yes.
for the whole country,
Yes.
so that you factor issue of how we should distribute population per constituencies.
Yes.
So then, are you being practical when you are telling us that even if BBI was to pass, you can finish this exercise and have these constituencies in place by the time we go to the elections next year, in August 2022? Is it practical?
Mr. Chairman, the KNBS data, the Commission has already analyzed the KNBS data, and it is in place. In terms of data collection for the delimitation of the 70 constituencies that are envisaged in the BBI, the contingency measure that is in place is if this becomes law, as we are continuing collecting the data, the Commission will team up with the Survey of Kenya, and we've already had a meeting with them. We have already contacted them, and the collection of data in the 70 constituent envisaged areas would take a shorter time than what we are saying.
Excuse me, Chairman and Secretary.
Chairman.
Yeah, I'm fairly struggling to hear what Ms. Kamindu is saying. So maybe Marijan, you can maybe take over, because I'm struggling to hear what she's saying. Chairman, IBC. I can't hear what your technical officer is saying.
Chairman.
Yes, Senator Mutula.
In fact, perhaps the chair should come in now.
More useful that way, because we can't hear what she's saying.
Yes, but even then, Chairman, I've had some people out there who, in the marketplace, talking about postponing elections, and this is central to the presidential elections, because presidential elections are held in constituencies. So if there is a review of this timeline, Mr. Chairman, please, Madam Marjan cannot then say we are going to change, we are going to do this. Ideally, the Commission should assure this committee and the country largely that based on that constitutional bill, there is a revised schedule, because this schedule that they have given is completely impractical insofar as the general elections are concerned. So perhaps they can review this and we deal with it later, because although I've heard what Marjan has said about meeting Survey of Kenya, dealing with the Ministry of Interior, etc., those are very abstract statements that, strictly speaking, cannot go onto record. There must be some certain specific timeline of what they will need to do in case they need to put 70 constituencies in place. In fact, Chairman Chebukati should assure the country that we can have the 70 constituencies and the general election in 2022 without moving a date. That is the sort of assurance that we are looking for, not anything else. Thank you.
Chairman, as you respond, I think there is a number of contradictions. I don't know whether I should trust Mrs. Kamindo or I should trust Marijan, because Marijan said it is practically impossible to finish the delimitation exercise by next year elections. And I did say that we want to trust your professional opinion on this, so that as the body in charge of this process, you are able to tell us if it's not practical that you are able to finish this exercise, which really is premised on the fact that we'll amend the constitution to increase the constituencies, and that the court will be able to conclude this exercise before August of this year. We are at a loss, you know. Ms. Kamindo says you can adjust the timetable and have the 70 constituencies in place. The CEO says that is not practical. So I don't know what position we are going to take as a committee. Whether we trust your technical staff, Kamindo, or we take what we have received through your memorandum, which says that this exercise cannot be complete before March 2023. So, Chairman, which position should we take? You are sending us big signals.
Thank you, Chair. We're looking at the matter in court in the Court of Appeal, and as far as the Commission is concerned, this matter is sub judice, and we cannot possibly, as a Commission, now plan on a matter which is in court and say this is what we shall do or this is not what we shall do. I think, in all fairness, our planning and the election, the boundaries operation plan is based on the legal framework which we have and the practical issues which we have as a commission. But all we are saying as a commission is this, that should the law change, then we shall try as much as possible and comply with the law. Now, that is as far as that matter is concerned. And I think I would not want to tell the country that we shall do this or we shall manage this within the limited time. But we are a creature of the law. Let's wait and cross the bridge when we get there. Chair, I think that is all I wish to say about this issue, which is pending in the Court of Appeal.
That is not very reassuring, Chairman. In view of what Madam Kamindo said, extremely unreassuring, Mr. Chairman, because what you have just said is exactly the opposite of what your officer is saying. So perhaps, Chairman, my own view is, in order so that we don't become carriers of bad news or doom, the Commission must come back to the committee with concrete information based on what the technical people are saying, and so that we are clear on the preparedness for the election in the event the Court of Appeal either nullifies the judgment of the High Court. There must be a plan, and that plan is important for the country. Thank you.
Okay, Chairman. Any other comment on that? Remember the official document that you sent to us. You have said that the review completed in March 2023. That's the official document that is in our hands.
Yes.
So that we take that to be your official position.
Yes, that based on the fact that this exercise has to be undertaken throughout the whole country, and that is the official position of the Commission.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think we can then proceed to other issues, but maybe next time, so that we're able to have a meaningful meeting, your technical officer should be prepared to be in a place where, you know, they're able to communicate to us in a manner that we can hear and from a proper setup than what's happening this morning.
Yeah, we'll go ahead, Chair, because I think
if we are doing even if a meeting is virtual, it should have some semblance of being official. There are some things I don't want to say here, but please, when we are saying we are doing a meeting virtual, it doesn't mean that we should make it look so casual, really, Chair. Otherwise, we'll be forced to say we need physical meetings next time so that we have officers who are attending in a meeting and giving it the seriousness that it requires. Let's proceed to the next issue.
Well noted, Chair. Time I'll make sure we sit in the same boardroom wherever we are for purposes of that harmony. Would I then request to go on the Campaign Financing Act?
Yeah, I think you can proceed to the Election Financing Act.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think the mandate of the Commission is clear. Article 8841, that the Commission is responsible for regulating the amount of money that may be spent on by or on behalf of a candidate or a party in respect of any election. And the Election Campaign Finance Act was enacted in 2013, providing for regulation, management, expenditure, and accountability of election expenses during elections and referendum campaigns.
2016.
Sorry, 2016?
2016, Chairman.
Sorry, thanks for the correction. Now, there was an amendment to Section 1 of that Act done by Parliament by adding Section 1A, which provided that the operation of the Act is suspended and the Act shall come into force immediately after the general election to be held in 2017, meaning that this Act should be operational in the next, the 2022 general election next year. But in 2016, the Commission developed the campaign finance regulations, which were to be tabled before the National Assembly for debate. But the Act having been suspended, and the reason for suspension was that it was not implementable. And as such, Parliament then stopped debate on the regulations that had been submitted by the Commission. Now, as a result of that, what has the Commission done between then and now? The Commission developed amendments to the Act for purpose of making it operational, and we had a meeting with the Justice Legal Affairs Committee of the National Assembly. We flagged out various aspects of the Act that required review. And that Act, which is the draft amended Act, is lying in the National Assembly before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Among the key aspects of the amendments include a self-regulatory mechanism, which puts emphasis on political parties to present proper accounts to the Commission, and proper definition of contribution and expenditure period to align with the election timelines, and addressing issues of sources of contributions in Harambes, among many other issues, and especially the issue of the campaign, how to arrive at the formula for the funds, the limit of funds to be used by candidates. So this draft is before the National Assembly. We haven't had anything happening to it. So as we speak, we have an Act which is supposed to be implemented in 2022. It cannot be operationalized because there are no regulations. Parliament says we should have it reviewed, and the Commission has a draft review which is lying in the National Assembly. So as we speak, then we can't proceed unless the amendments are done, and then the regulations attendant to those amendments are also brought in place. So, Chair, that is the portion of the Election Campaign Financing Act.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Senator Mtula.
I'm just wondering out aloud, Chairman Chebukati, Why did you see it fit not to send the said regulations to the Senate? Perhaps you are not aware, and I can remind you, the election of members of county assembly is a special jurisdiction of the Senate. If you look at Article 96 and others. Similarly, all proposals that you have made, you have not deemed it fit to share with this committee, and I may remind you that it's possibly the only committee that has senior councils in Parliament. That is not to brag, but I'm just wondering loudly why your committee, your secretariat didn't see it fit to send it to this committee.
Chair, can I answer that? I think it's an oversight, and it's not too late in the day. We undertake to furnish the same document to the committee as at the earliest possible. I think it's an oversight on the part of my team.
On top of your head, Chairman, is it possible to tell us what is the view of the Commission on the expenditure a presidential candidate should meet? Because you know that is key to ensuring that we don't have illegal money in the system. What would you say?
Chair, at the moment, I'm not able to say the figure. I think there's a formula developed based on cost drivers by the team, and I would not want to state a figure at the moment until...
Nobody in this meeting from IEBC is aware about that figure?
I would want to approach it this way, that the proposals, I would want them to go through the commission plenary, then we can disseminate them to the Kenyan public.
What did you send to the National Assembly?
What we said to the National Assembly is we amended the substantive law. Now, that substantive law does not have figures. It just states that at every general election, the commission then shall come up with a figure which will be reviewed from time to time because of the changes in our way of life and the situations. So then the regulations will come in to have those figures. Now the regulations have not been developed, but again there's a formula which will be used to arrive at the figures for purpose of the regulations.
In terms of your election timelines, because we called you to this meeting because of preparedness for the elections, and we need, if you have people must resign by February of 2022, surely they must know how much money they should set aside for the elections. Chairman.
Chairman, we have an...
Chair IEBC, we have seen your formula, eh?
Yes.
We saw your formula in your memorandum, but I think what Senator Mtula is saying, you know, like for presidential candidate, those factors don't change. It's the same. You are a presidential candidate for the same country, same population. The demographic is the same. The geographical features you will traverse as you campaign is the same. So what Senator Mtula is saying is Kenyans need to hear the figure, the projected figure from IEBC. The parliamentary campaigns or senatorial, gubernatorial may change because of differences in features. But what are you looking at for presidential candidates?
Chair, two things. One, I'll tell the Senate the amendments to the Act, and hopefully the Senate will fast track them so that we have a law in place upon which then we shall be able to develop these regulations and that schedule of figures, which then we shall share with the rest of, the country. At the moment, I don't have the figures, and the way we operate, that will be a decision then made by the Commission, and we have not made that decision.
What I'm saying, Chair, with your formula, you can arrive at a limit in Kenya shillings scientifically, because you have a formula in place.
Yes, that may be so, but I would need the team to work it out and give me those figures, which then we can share. I don't have the figures with me at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
So Senator, anything?
Chairman, therefore, it means that the question of Mary Senator is not answered substantively. That is what she was saying, because what the commission has given us is completely abstract. On page 7, 6, and 7, the commission should have said through the chair that they have come up with a formula. They have not sat at plenary. They don't have a draft. So for purposes of election campaign, they have no figure. And they tell us by September of this year, they will tell Kenyans how much each presidential candidate should ideally set aside, or if they are going to raise funds, they should disclose from whatever sources they have raised funds. You know, then the question by Mary Senator is answered. For now, ideally, Chairman, this question is not answered.
I think, Chair, you agree with that conclusion by Senator Mutula?
Chair, I would want to say that we have answered the question the best of our ability, to the extent that unless there are amendments, unless Parliament, National Assembly and Senate unlock this amendment, this act will be impossible to operationalize. Now, it will put us again back to, we have a court judgment which says it stopped us from operationalizing this act until those amendments are done. So
amendments or regulations?
Regulations, sorry. So it is a chicken and egg situation. Let Parliament do the amendments, but for purposes of sharing and regulations, that is an issue the Commission undertakes to do within the shortest time possible. So I think we are saying, can we have amendments done at the earliest possible? The Commission will then, like yesterday, have the regulations and the figures available to the Parliament, and then we can move on. That is
okay. The Chairman, the committee will direct that you share the amendments with us and the regulations. But you will have to do a fresh write-up in response to the questions that were sent to you, and append your signature, because what we have is not signed, it's just a booklet, so that we will fix another date next week when you officially and that memorandum or response to us, which will guide our answers to the Senate when we reconvene. So I think there are a number of issues that have not been adequately responded to. We need a proper timetable on activities geared towards credible elections in August of 2022. So I think, Chairman, we have agreed on that one. You will prepare a fresh template with a set of activities and timelines, and then send it over to us. On Section 22 of the Elections Act, I think you have adequately responded to that one. You are simply enforcing the law. The major one will be the roadmap on activities, the annual plan we have. So I think that remains a pending matter, and we will request that you do that and send it over to us. You said by when, Chairman?
That's up to Wednesday next week. Let me just check the date. That will be 30th of June.
So you'll give us with the response by 30th of June.
Yes, Chair.
Can it come earlier? Can it come earlier?
Yes, we can do that. I think on or before, even once it's ready,
yes, before.
Then we shall end up wait for that. We can do it earlier.
Okay, fine.
That's information we have.
Okay,
That's okay. So if we receive it earlier, the better for us.
Yeah, together with the amended the amendments to the Campaign Financing Act.
Yes, and the regulations. So we then agree that we have a number of issues that we'll set a meeting for, including the issues that arose from the Supreme Court, and then there are the other issues that were raised by Senator Sakaja. So we will organize to set up another date when we can hold another meeting to maybe continue these discussions. For now, I think senators, unless anybody has an issue, we can release IEBC. Senator Mtula, you have an issue? Okay, so I think what we do is we can say that's enough for today. We leave it at that. Chairman, you will send us those the material that we have requested and a further response to the issues that were raised in our earlier communication by or on or before 30th of June, after which we will again convene for another meeting to discuss this matter further. Unless you have any issue from your end, I wish to end the meeting there. Chairman, unless you have any issue from your end.
There's no, just to thank you for this meeting. I think it's important that we discuss the matters election because it will assist all of us to move forward to the as we go towards the 2022 general election. So thank you, Chair and the members for the meeting.
Okay, and from our end, we want to thank you for getting time to appear before us. These engagements are useful. We Kenyans and all of us expect nothing less from you than a free, fair, and credible election. So we want to ensure that we have engagements that help you in preparation of an election that can have the full confidence of the Kenyan people. So with that, that marks the end of our meeting today, and I wish all of you a fruitful day ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
motorbikes, they are going to be officially flagged off by Excellency